a shiur which is connected to the secrets of the Talmud. And the first topic is the complete truth about Gezera Shava. Now, what does the Gezera Shava mean? Does anyone know? So this is a very important midrashic principle which is applied to learn laws from one verse to another verse using key words. And if you could look at the page which I gave you on the number A, what is Gezera Shava? So this is a copy of a beautiful book of Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, The Essential Talmud, a very special book. I highly recommend it. It is published by Magid Hisparim. They have got it probably in a Pomeranz, but you could get it online. It is a very special book. It is a translation from the Hebrew edition, and in this book, Rabbi Steinsaltz explains in a beautiful way what Gezera Shava means. So, who would like to volunteer reading this passage? Thank you.
Another basic hermeneutical principle is Gezera Shava, which may be defined as philological measure. When the meaning of a word or halach is unclear, it is inferred by word analogy from another passage where the meaning is clear. Gezera Shava is basically simple, but it's considerably elaborated in the halachic midrash when a certain word may serve as a key to inference on different subjects. The logical structure resembles that deciphering text, various key words serving as the basis for interpretation of the entire sentence. This important exegetic rule may prove dangerous if employed indiscriminately, since many words appear in different sentences and any desired conclusion may be obtained. One basic qualification is that a man may not infer a Gezera Shava unless he learned it from his teacher. Thus, the method is a matter of traditional knowledge of key words, and is necessary only to clarify the significance of the comparison between two related texts. There is an additional restriction: Gezera Shava is acceptable only if it can be proved that the key word in both passages was really inserted for the purpose and is superfluous to the text. The method is therefore utilized like the figure that denotes footnotes to designate the connection between the text and notes appearing elsewhere.
Thank you so much. Thanks for reading it. Here together we are going to study a beautiful example for Gezera Shava, which is also connected to our Parashat Shavua, Sarah, and is one of the classical examples of a Gezera Shava, and through this learning we are going to understand something deeper about the Gezera Shava. But first of all, we're going to ask a question, because this principle raises a very difficult question. The question is, how is it possible to link together two different texts just because of that there are two identical words which appear in both texts? This is a question. What does a philological similarity have to do with determining the halacha? It seems as if it is two separate issues, right? So what do you say? How would you explain the nature of a Gezera Shava and how it works?
would say that sometimes Gezera Shava is the only way to explain why. It's not always, but in some cases, it's the only way to explain why these words appear in these particular psukim. That there's really no other. There's like Chachamim just didn't find any other reason. It must be Gezera Shava. That's just one reason. I don't know if that's the only reason, but I believe it does occur sometimes where Gezera Shava is deduced from the fact that there is where a word could be seemingly an extra word, and they learn from that it's Gezera Shava teaching us something about this other pasuk and derived halachos from that.
You're saying that it is the only way to determine the halacha if is an extra word, and I just want to say something about that. That every word in the Torah is a significant. One could say about a regular book, even about this, a special book, that if a human being writes a book, so there are additional words that one could have written it in a shorter way. However, when we are talking about the Torah, which is a given by Hashem, so if Hashem uses specific words, so if he didn't use a different word which he could have, and if it seems to be an additional word, so there is meaning to it. And every single word it comes to, it teaches us a halacha. So what you said, the principle that you said, is very, very important in understanding the way how a Chazal he saw the Torah.
No question.
Yeah.
Is the Gezera Shava kind of like a juxtaposition, or is that something else?
What do you mean?
Juxtaposition is what I think juxtaposition means is when you're referring to two separate things and then kind of comparing them, or showing parallels between, or showing a connection between two things that maybe on the surface do not seem to have a connection.
Rabbi Sachs used to call it intertextuality. So perhaps if that helps. But I like using the phrase keywords, because these are keywords in the two separate psukim that they form something big. Soon we're going to see it over here. But regarding the question that I asked, how is it possible to link together two different texts just because of identical words? What do you say? More explanations? Does anyone have an idea? So there is no doubt that a Gezera Shava is not coincidental between the two words and the two verses. It is not by chance. There must be a deep connection between them. If we take a different psukim and a different parashiot, perhaps in the different books, and we compare them together and we bring them together, there must be a deep connection between them. It is not by chance that this word is over here and this word is here, and then we're connecting them together. So we must try and unearth the idea which is hidden under the surface. This is what we are going to try to do. One has to be a bit of an archaeologist, archaeologist for this trying to discover what is under the surface. So let's examine one of the classical examples for Gezera Shava, which, as I said, is connected to our parsha as well. And then, through this example, we are going to uncover the deep meaning, not only specifically to this Gezera Shava, but it is going to tell us something great about the nature of all the different cases of Gezera Shava. That there's always a deeper connection under the surface. Okay? So let's go ahead. You can see it here in a section B, regarding the cave of the Machpelah and Kiddushin. So the Gemara tries to discover what is the source that the Kinyan, a Kinyan is a method of acquisition. So what is the source that the Kinyan of Kiddushin is specifically done with money? And now, of course, it doesn't have to be with actual money. It could be something that is worth money. What do we use nowadays for the Kiddushin?
Ring.
That's right, a ring. And if you pay attention, that under the chuppah, the mesader chuppah, the Kiddushin, the rabbi brings two witnesses, and in front of those witnesses, he asks the bride, is this ring worth a puta? A puta is a halachic minimal amount of money that one is allowed to he do the Kiddushin with it. Okay?
What is that? Puta nowadays? Shekel or
Nowadays, I'm not quite sure how much it is worth. I'm going to have to check. It's a good question. So the rabbi asks the bride, is this, and also something important, that it cannot be a diamond ring.
What?
If a diamond ring or a precious stone, it is confusing, because that it could be that the caliph thinks that it is worth a certain amount of money, and when it actually is not worth that much. Because but your diamonds are very tricky, because that it depends what a type of stone, how well it is polished, the shape, the different colors where they come out of it. So that is why it is better to do the Kiddushin just on a simple gold ring, that there is no doubt how much it is worth.
But if someone were to actually do Kiddushin on a diamond ring, does it still count?
Well, the rabbi should ask the kala, are you willing to accept this ring, no matter how much it is worth? And if a rabbi asks the question in that way, so everything is okay, because then the Yakala doesn't think that it is worth like $10,000 when it is only worth $1,000, which it could be. Like in a diamond, say prices could vary that much. What do you say?
Of its value per day.
What do you say?
5/6 of its value per day.
Hey, puta. What?
Diamonds lose 5/6 of their value per day.
Ah, okay, thanks. So that is why. So the question is, question that the Gemara, he tries and to discover what is the source of that kiddushin has to be done with money or something that is worth money, like a ring. So, who would like to read the answer? This is in a source too. It is a from the Sonsino edition of a Talmud. I think it's over there. You could see that red a set of books. I am just going to say that the editor, the chief editor of the books, was a Rabbi Isidore Epstein, one of the greatest rabbis in England. And this was actually the first time that the Talmud was translated into English, the whole Talmud. And we could see all of the volumes of it. It's a beautiful edition of the Talmud. Okay, so who is going to read source 2?
I can read it.
Okay, great, thanks.
And how do we know that money affects betrothal? By deriving the meaning of taking from the field of a throne. Here it is written, if any man take a wife, whilst there it is written, I will give thee money for the field, take it to me. Moreover, taking is a designated acquisition, for it is written, the field which Abraham acquired.
Okay, great, thanks. Underneath, I bought the Steinsaltz Current edition, which you can see over there. There's the beautiful edition of the Steinsaltz, which is a very good, because over there, if it is a term like a puta, so Rav Steinsaltz would say exactly how much it is worth today, and he also brings a historical background, and he also brings a science. He brings all kinds of interesting things, and next to the Steinsaltz edition is the Schuttenstein edition, if somebody wants to go even deeper. So first it is the Sonsino, which I mentioned before. That is just a translation. It is just a translation is something great, right? But if somebody wants to go deeper, it is the Steinsaltz, and if somebody wants to go even more deeper, it is the Schuttenstein. The Schuttenstein in English is an art scroll, and over there there is a commentary as well. Steinsaltz brings a small commentary, a brief commentary, and also all of the background that you need in order to understand. He also brings what the halacha is, and he brings important insights. But the Schuttenstein brings all of the Rishonim, some of the Achronim. He brings many, many different commentaries, and if somebody really wants to understand not only what the Talmud is saying, but what the greatest rabbis throughout history said about the Talmud, the Schuttenstein is where to go. So that is just a small a description about the different editions of the Talmud that are available. So we could see over here that there is a classical example of the Gezera Shava. What the Talmud is saying, and if you could look over here at the board, there is a verse in the book of the Devarim. It says, if any man take a wife, okay? And in the book of the Bereshit it says, I will give you money for the field, take it of me, okay? So this is talking about marriage. This is talking about the acquisition of the cave of the Machpelah. That Avraham Avinu, after his wife Sarah died, he wanted to bury her, right? And because within the Ma'arat Machpelah, it was a very special cave. Who was buried there? Does anyone know?
Yeah, Adam Shava.
That's right, Adam and Chava. And it is also the opening of Gan Eden. So it says that Ephron wanted to give it to him for free, because but Avraham was very respectable and so forth, but Avraham didn't agree. What?
According to the book and according to my understanding of it and everything, everyone being at the gate of the city when Sarah passed away and giving her respects, I think that he was actually being serious. You can give it, you can take it for free.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure
he was serious. He was
like, okay, I'm not worried about you. I'm just worried about your future generations. Gonna make a claim that no, it's not yours, it's us. We gave it to you for free. We didn't really. That's not really a good transaction. You don't own it, and so I'm pretty sure Abraham wasn't buying it just because Ephron was gonna make a scandal out of it or something, or a trickery, but his kids might.
Beautifully what you said. This is actually what the Midrash says. And the Midrash says that there are 3 sites which the nations of the world, they cannot claim that it belongs to them. Does anyone know what sites we said about the Ma'arat Machpelah, right? That is one. What? That's right, the Kever Yosef, because it says... Absolutely, because it... That's right, that it says in the Kever Yosef, it says that Yaakov purchased the field where eventually they're going to bury Yosef, and it says exactly how much it was paid for. Mea Kshita, that is what it says. Kshita, is an edition of a Steinsaltz also for the Tanakh. And probably there, so he says exactly how much a Kshita is in nowadays, but that was a currency then. Now, Hara Moria, does anyone know who purchased it? David HaMelech. And he purchased it from Aravna. Yeah?
It says B'chesed Malay.
That's right, and he paid. And it is interesting because it says exactly how much he paid. It said that he paid...
B'chesed Malay means full price, not with full money.
That's right. So, regarding the acquisition of a Temple Mount, so in one place it says, in the Book of Kings it says one amount, and in the Book of Chronicles it says a different amount. In one place it says a 50 shekels, and in a different place it says a 600 shekels.
50 shekels? Wow.
Hey, shekels in those days, yeah? So, what is it? How could we understand it? So the Talmud says that if you divide 600 into 50, how much did you get?
You get 12, yeah.
12. And how many tribes are there? 12. So everybody paid 50. And then it is a 600. So we divide what?
That's 600 shekels. That's just not much for us.
In those days, it was more. It was a silver shekels. Anyway, but so these are the 3 places which the nations of the world, they cannot say that we stole it, because because it says in the Tanakh that it belongs to us. There's a story that there was a committee at the time of the British Mandate in Israel, and they asked David Ben Gurion, to explain why does he think that the land of Israel belongs to the people of Israel. So what did he do? He took the Tanakh, raised it in his hand, and he said that the Tanakh is a kushan. What is a kushan? In the Turkish, a kushan, what?
Connection?
No, is a special how do you say a shtal mecher?
Document or
Receipt.
The contract.
Mm-hmm.
A special document that he proves that a legal document that he approves that the land of Israel belongs to us.
Kind of contract.
Right.
Deed, maybe.
Indeed.
Right.
Word, yeah.
That's right. That is a better word. So, the first Rashi in the Torah.
Oh, this one.
The first Rashi, do you know what the first Rashi is?
So Rashi asked a question. Why does it begin with the beginning of the whole entire world? Now with the words Mei HaChodesh has Mei HaChodesh
That's right.
something.
Yeah.
I forgot what the second word is. But he basically says the reason why we're starting with the story of the creation is because it comes to show that Hashem is in charge of the world. So when people would say that, oh no, you stole it, it's not really yours, we can say, no, Hashem owns it. He gets to decide who gets to live in it, and he can kick us out whenever he wants. We kick the other people out. You guys can come kick us out if Hashem lets. But because he's letting us stay here, it's ours.
Amen.
Beautiful. This is what the Rashi says.
So
Yeah.
it says Amar Yitzchak, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, or Rabbi Yitzchak. Did he quote a Gemara or his father? Because I heard that his father's name was Yitzchak, and that's what he quoted. But there's also like Yitzchak's in the Gemara, and it sounds like it's from the Gemara, but I've never seen anything in the Gemara.
It's just, so I think it is one of his teachers.